Do you feel like you just don't have enough time in the day to get everything done that needs to get done? You know, one day it's Monday and the next thing you know it's Friday. And when things don't get done that are important, it is very, very stressful. It can actually literally impact your sleep. It's not good. So time is a problem for so many people in that they consistently have a shortage of it. And if you consistently have a shortage of time, you will enter what I call the blame game, where you blame time for everything. I'm too busy, I'm in a hurry, I gotta go, I'll do it later. And this can become very habitual. So much so that you'll find yourself saying you don't have time to do something that would take 5 minutes. And then life just becomes chaotic, and then not only your personal life, but business. Business becomes so chaotic, and when the two bleed into each other, it's just chaos and stress across the board. So I talk about business on this channel, and primarily sales and how to increase your sales, your pipeline, how to get your follow-up work done, and all of that. So I'm going to discuss that in relation to time. Now, the best way, the easiest way, and I use that term loosely because it's not easy for most people, but the easiest way to bring in more sales is to follow up. Well, follow-up is problematic for a lot of people because the number one reason why most can't get their follow-up work done, so they say, is because they don't have the time. They're just too busy. I've heard it a gazillion times, and I never ever believe it. It's not about the time, and time is a real problem for a lot of people. As I said earlier, because they consistently have a shortage of it. So why is that? Why do so many people run short on time? Because what most do is they waste their days, their working day, on low priority, busy work. And they waste all day on that work, and then they get to the end of the day, 5 o'clock, and oh shoot, I couldn't get that follow-up work done, or I couldn't get that top priority work done. And they blame time. And time's not the problem. It's about what you're doing with the time you have. Even if you only have 1 hour to get some work done, you should always be working on your top priority work first before you do that low priority busy work. Why do so many waste their time on that low priority busy work? Because that's the comfortable work. And our human nature is to gravitate towards comfort. But the comfortable work is not the work that's going to move the needle forward in your sales, in your business, in your goals. It's the top priority work that does that. That tends to be the uncomfortable work. So I'm going to give you a challenge to help you get out of the blame game and make more time. That's the thing. You've got to make the time. You have time. You have to make it work for you and not against you. So at the end of the day, you don't feel like you were so busy but didn't get anything done. And if you catch yourself saying that, ding, 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 you wasted the day on low priority busy work. Because when you get that top priority work done, you are always going to feel accomplished. Even though you have other things that need to get done, you're good because you got that important work done. So back to my challenge. Do this for 30 days. I promise it will change you. It will change your business. It will change the way you're approaching your sales goal. Is do your top priority work first before you do anything else. When you do that, you will be amazed at how time shows up for you. It is stunning. I've declared it a phenomenon because I can't explain to you how it happens or why it happens. All I can tell you is it happens. When you get that top priority work done first, everything else just seems to fall into place. So that's one recommendation. Second recommendation I'm going to make is don't say ever again, I didn't get that done because I didn't have the time. When you say that, you're like blaming time. And time's out there somewhere. You can't get your hands on it. So don't say that anymore. What I want you to say instead is, I didn't get that done because I didn't make it a high enough priority. Therein lies the truth. See, when you blame it on time, again, it's out there. But when you say, I didn't make it a high enough priority, well, you know what? That is a much easier course to correct. Why? Because you, for the most part, you have control over your priorities. Now, there's certain things you don't have control over. If you have kids and you have to have them at school at a certain time, you don't have control over when school starts. But once you get into your working space, you have control over what you're going to work on. So set your priorities effectively and adhere to it, because that's what's going to ensure that you get done what is necessary to move the needle forward in your business. Or if you work for somebody and you're in sales, you've got to hit your sales goals, or you run the risk of being fired, and that's not good. It's stressful. So it's relative. Okay, so make sure that you don't blame time, that you recognize it is not about the time, it's about what you're doing with the time you have. And then the last recommendation I'm going to make is create a not to-do list. So you may think, but I'm just always so busy and I truly don't have the time. Well, I would bet the bank you're wasting some kind of time that you could utilize in a much better, more effective, and more productive way. So what are some time wasters? Booking yourself too full. If you're booking yourself solid, how can you get your work done? And when your work doesn't get done, your stress level skyrockets. Not having wiggle room in between your appointments. You have to have what I call white space, so you have room for a traffic jam or a call that came in unexpectedly and took longer than you anticipated. If you have no white space in between your appointments, you're setting yourself up to be late. And being late is very stressful, and it's not a good look. And then social media. You should not be looking at social media during the work days ever, period, end of story, because it is such a time waster. Now, if your business, your job is reliant on social media, that's a different story. By all means, proceed. But I'm talking about, don't be looking at the latest and greatest posts during working hours. You're wasting so much time. Wait and do that while you're eating dinner or at lunchtime. Please don't do it, because that is going to suck so much time from you, which we all only have a limited amount. And then lastly, don't jump every time your phone or computer rings or dings. This is the biggest distraction there is. You can't do that, because you will end up falling into holes and getting tangled up in things that are not important. And you're going to end up wasting time. Okay, so, well, if you've got social media notifications, and that's why your phone or computer is ringing or ding, turn them off. Turn them off, because you don't want to be distracted. Same with your emails or tags, turn those notifications off. Then when it's time to go look at your email, you're going to be fully focused, present, and be able to work down the list, or your text, the same thing. But if you're in the middle of a project or a task and your phone dings and, I better go look at that email, and you look at that email and 20 minutes later you're coming back to the task at hand, you've just wasted a bunch of times. And here's the other thing. We're all a lot more alike than we are different. You don't look at just one email or text. You know what you do? You end up looking at what else has come in, and that really can become a big distraction. So yes, time goes fast. There's no doubt about it, but that's even more the reason to make sure you're working productively. You're doing your income producing work, your top priority work, before you do anything else. Let the nonsense, the fluff, the comfortable, the busy work take a back seat. Now, we all have busy work to do, okay? But not at the expense of the top priority work. And what I have found is that, so many people have become a victim of time. Time's the enemy. And I don't want that for you. And it doesn't have to be that way. I want you being a master of time. And being masterful with time is being very mindful as to, are you spending your time wisely or are you wasting it? Time is a resource, just like money is. You don't want to be wasteful of your money. You do not want to be wasteful of your time. At this recording date, the first quarter of 2025 is behind us. I mean, how crazy is that? Wasn't New Year's just like 2 weeks ago? Yeah, time goes by in lightning speed. So you cannot waste it, and that means every day matters and every day counts. So here's the bottom line. We all get 24 hours. That is the one way we are all equal. So I ask you to question yourself every working day. What are you doing with your 24 hours? Are you being mindful and productive, or are you wasting it? So if you like this, give it a thumbs up. I hope it was helpful, and don't forget to subscribe because I want you back on the next video.